Hi, hello. Today we're boozing. Okay, quickly bitch, because the light's gonna go off. And then what you need to put the light, the artificial light there. The first world problems. Jingle bell, jingle on the way. Oh my god. And this is me, sober. So, hi, hello, and welcome. Have you been lost? Because I think we just found you. And I'm Maya, and this is not Anonymous Alcoholics, even though it might look like it by the end of this video, but it's not. It's Friday, and you know what it means. It's last meals. You're joining me here today for that particular reason. Also maybe because I'm super amusing, but no. Probably just to hear the story of a true crime case, because you're a freak. Love it. I love it. This is a PG channel. Now I can hear it. I can hear it in your cyberspace, that you're wondering, what the hell are we doing drinking here? This is last meals. Alcohol is not allowed. Well, it was at this particular point. Unbelievably enough, this is not a brand advertisement. I mean, I'm popular in my head, but still not in the counts of YouTube. Well, again, this kind of doesn't allow me to start the videos in the usual way, which is like, what can we conclude from the person we're talking about today? Were they an alcoholic? Because that would spoil the rest of the case. So let's dive into the motherfucker. So let's dive in, shan't we? Basically, this is the last meal. This is the addition. Also, because the last meal part is just done by the flask, what I plan to do is make myself a mixer. So I just speed up through that because we know that that was disastrous in the past. Can you come here to open something? Useless. Okay, go, I'll manage it, wait. Oh god, I did not drink in a while. This is gonna be a riot. Okay. Black coca. Aesthetic. What is aesthetic of pleasing? Also, please, can you read what it says? Somebody gave this to me as like a present. Take a shot and shut the fuck up. Tells a lot about my character and who I was at uni. So yeah, this is to cheers to the university, Maya, and to all of you fuckers that are drinking with me right now. Okay, let's dive into the case. This is going to be a short one and quite different, I would say, from the cases I usually cover, just because we have barely anything on this guy's childhood. So today we are talking about John Spenkelink, and he was born in 1949. March, what is that? Give him the date of birth, Maya, goddammit. He was born on March 29th, 1949, and the only thing we know about his childhood is that he was a child to an Iowa farmer, and that his dad committed suicide when John was only 11 years old. And John was the person to find his dad. So his dad has pulled the exhaust pipe into the car and just filling up the car with the carbon monoxide thing, which, yeah, seems to be a thing. I've heard it like actually a couple of times in crime cases, and it's just like such a trigger, because then you need to clear the car out of carbon monoxide. You're also finding your dad. Dad, talk about triggers for the rest of your life. After this, since his teenage years, he would do petty crimes. So he robbed a gas station, he robbed like people on the streets, he would rob fast food restaurants, but nothing bigger than that. Well, however, some of his robberies were armed robberies, so he would use firearms, and obviously that could escalate. So, plus it's not nice robbing people. Why am I saying it like, oh, it's just robberies? What the fuck? For one such armed robbery, he gets convicted and gets 5 years to serve. He is now convicted to serve this time in California, so in the Slack Canyon Conservation Camp. Out of which he manages to escape. He is now 24 years old once he gets this 5-year sentence, and quickly he manages to escape from this prison. So now he escaped from prison. He stole a car and he is just driving towards Midwest. So on that way to Tallahassee, Florida, he picks up a hitchhiker whose name is Joseph Simaniewicz. I'll put the name on the screen, it's Polish and I should know these things because I'm technically, yeah, almost from the same country, but not. But hey, during this ride they have bonded over different things, like including the fact that they were both alcoholics and that they were both doing crime and petty thefts, and so yeah, they had a lot of bonding to do all the way to Florida. Now, because they have bonded so well with one another, they both rent out a room at this hotel in Tallahassee. So the situation of it is kind of unknown, but it is said that John left the room, and once he returned, he shot Joseph, who was sleeping, once behind the left ear and once to his back. And he proceeded to give a cover story at the reception, and he booked a room for another day to give himself some head start while he is on the run and, you know, for the cleaning lady or whoever to find the body. Can you actually see both sides to my face now? Because the sun is just not blasting into it. Maybe, maybe not. I'll never know until, you know, another 15 minutes into this when I go and check the camera again. So Spenkelink is now hitchhiking and, no, he's not. Spenkelink is now again on the run, technically, in a car, but he again stops to pick up another hitchhiker. He just needed company. Just kind of sad, that was kind of true. So he picks up this hitchhiker, Frank Broom, and he actually during this ride admits to Frank what he has done. He has said that it was in self-defense, but basically him and this other guy were in a hotel room and they were playing Russian roulette, and then just by accident, you know, the shot fired and he had shot Joseph. And Frank is like, cool, let's still hang out, let's not go to the police. Now, less than a week after he picked Frank up, the two of them have been caught because, again, they went back to their own ways and they have committed an armed robbery. And this is when Frank chooses to just snitch on him and just testify against him, because why the hell not, save himself, so he was acquitted. Whereas Joey now got the death penalty because he actually killed a person this time. How they connected it, so the evidence was the testimony by Frank. They also found a gun that John used to kill Joseph in this fight that was leased to Frank Broom and to the rest of the people that tried this armed robbery. Oh, it's getting too mean. Back home we say someone is being touched when you're kind of like getting tipsy. It's literally, it's not even you're tipsy, you're just like touched. The alcohol touched you. Here, even that would be like sexual assault, so yeah, that's why I don't say it. Except right now on camera. Also, we don't say like you were touched, it's like the alcohol touched me, which somehow makes this even worse. Okay, cool. Continue with the story. Now, during the trial, it comes to light that Joey kind of lied to Frank, as in he had shot him twice, but he also bludgeoned Joey with a hatchet. And his defense was that Joey was actually forcing him to perform sexual acts on him that he didn't want, to play Russian roulette that again he didn't want, and that he held him prisoner in that hotel room. Which we can never prove because one person is dead. Well, actually both people are dead. This is too long day. But the evidence pointed out that he actually left the room, then returned and just shot Joey out of nowhere while he was like sleeping, so defenseless. So he actually managed to get a plea deal which would have given him like second-degree murder and life in prison, but he rejects it. He's like, nope, death row it is, and that's why we're here. She says excitedly, for some reason. Okay. Now, lean in. Yeah, I have some tea to spill. So, I am not 100% on this case. This is like one of those cases, you know, I've covered Eileen, I've covered, well, the miscarriage of justice of Joey already, where I cried and sobbed. You know, I've covered a couple of them now. I'm not 100% on this one as to like, he definitely did it. What should convince me technically is the fact that, well, he invented this whole cover story and then giving him time to flee while he clearly knew that there is a dead man in the hotel room, having killed him or not. Obviously the fact that he also confessed to it. But then when I think about it, he wasn't super dumb. Why not dispose of a weapon? You know that that's gonna get back to you. It's not as much that I'm suspecting in his guilt, but more into like, don't associate yourself with shady characters because they're gonna snitch on you. Because what happened here, the police technically worked with Frank and with this other guy that they leased the apartment to, and they all were like, yeah, listen, he's out now, go into the flat, and then it's like, yeah, that drawer, that's where the gun is. I mean, I guess don't get associated yourself with other people doing crime. But yeah, with this case, I mean, everything should be leaning me towards like, yeah, he was 100% guilty. But then it's just like, it's way too easy, man. I don't like when they're too easy. Okay, that was Touch Maja speaking. He was guilty, okay? Chill. Don't fucking come in. Now the prosecution manages to actually, with the evidence that they have, first of all they have testimony, but they also manage from how he was shot to confirm that his story was actually bullshit and that he did probably leave, then come back, and Joe was actually just sleeping on the bed. He shot him once behind the left ear and then once in the back and then bludgeoned him with a hatchet. Then there's this whole like backup cover story that he gave to the hotel staff, and then he just like skedaddled. Also, why confess to something you haven't done, right? Well, that is going to become like a really prevalent question, because once he was convicted in 1976, John had the option to have a plea deal which would give him life in prison, and that would mean that he is convicted for second-degree murder, which will probably maybe down the line even result in like some appeals. Maybe he would even see the light of day because he was super young. But he refuses it. He goes for the first-degree murder, and that meant death sentence. Now, not to go back onto my maybe his innocent story, but maybe. It's like, I'm aware this story has more on the back than on the front. It's just that kind of case. But basically, the death penalty was resumed in 1976. So, which is the year when he was convicted. So maybe he chose to refuse this plea deal because he never thought he will actually be executed. Why do I think that? Well, that's the kicker. I think that because he started appealing from the get-go. So as soon as he was convicted to death, he started appealing with his lawyers, and he did until the day he died. Which, I mean, a guilty person, would they appeal that many times? I think I read one article that he appealed like over 30 times, well, his lawyers did. You know, would a guilty person do that? I'm so divided on this case. I mean, let me know in the comments what you think about this, okay? I mean, it could be that he was just convicted guilty and then he was like, oh fuck, I didn't think like I was actually going to die, so let's appeal just because of that. But then, I mean, choose a plea deal when you have the option to choose a plea deal, goddammit. Due to these appeals, he actually became sort of like a celebrity case. So the governor at the time, the singer John Boyce actually all fought for him, well, fought for the cause, and kind of like sparked up that debate whether like death penalty should have been reintroduced, because he was to be the first person again to go through the execution. Also, in most of his appeals, he actually tried to play the poor card well, that the death penalty discriminated against the poor and the unprivileged, and that's why he is the first person to like be executed again. Now we speed up pretty quickly actually. So 76 it was reintroduced, 79 was his execution date in May 1979. So the morning of May 25th, 1979, this DJ on a popular radio show called Doug Tracht played sounds of sizzling bacon and dedicated it to Spenkelink. Oh god, that would be nice. It's a nice sound. ASMR and all. She says with confidence she's planning to do something in the US that she doesn't even have the visa for. Okay. What I'm not going to delve into is the details behind the electric chair. The electric chair had a nickname, Old Sparky, and then it has like a Wikipedia page and all the history of like who has been executed on this electric chair, because America. Don't cancel this channel. Oh my god, this channel is gonna be cancelled. But yeah, Florida. Everything weird happens in Florida. Try googling Florida man and today's date and let the magic happen. The magic doesn't only happen now there. We come to the story of this. Well, minus the coke. So let's coke. So you're a multi-million-dollar brand. So on the day of his execution, there's this prison guard that basically just pulled him in. He was like, listen, come here, this is gonna take the edge off, take like a couple of shots. So he just like took the Jack Daniels out of his drawer, you know, as they do, because they apparently get crunk in prison, sweet. And then he poured it into a flask, out of which John took a couple of shots. There's no way I'm not spilling this out. Right. That's way too much for 2 shots. I don't know why. So, his justification, the guy's justification, is that even famous people like Anne Boleyn in the UK, you know, the wife of Henry VIII, has been offered a drink, so why the hell wouldn't he be? Take the edge off, you know, it's your first time, mate. We didn't want to reintroduce, so 2 shots, huh? I hate it. You know that I do this, you know that I do this last meals thing to put myself in the zone of like what the person was going through, what was their mindset, why the fuck did they choose it, or in this case, why the hell were they given it? And I mean, it would take the edge off, but then what, nothing else to like, you know, swing afterwards? What, nothing else to just put over it, to have like as an aftertaste? Like, let me know down below, would you want to go to the electric chair, or just any, hypothetically, okay, just any capital punishment with something just burning your throat and just not having a nice aftertaste? Like, I want to die, you know, feeling strawberries and stuff in my mouth. Okay, John and Gacy, okay. So after he has had some booze with the prison guard, he actually didn't have any last words at the electric chair, on the electric chair while executed, but he has reportedly said some last words like while in prison. And those were, capital punishment, then without a capital, get a punishment. Get it? Alluding again to his poverty and how like poor people are more inclined to get the capital sentence. Which, he ain't that wrong, right? Truly. When have you ever heard about the rich people being executed? If you have, please drop it down below, I'd love to cover them. I love it. This is not where the story ends. So after his death, there was a couple of inmates that started this rumor, right? They were like, Lini, let me tell you, let me spill the tea. Let me spill the tea. What has happened is, before Spenkelink has been brought to his electric chair execution, these guards have actually beaten him up, and he has actually died before the chair. Scandalous, spread it around, and then like it obviously spread around to the point where it reached his mom. And the whole point was to say that like you would see bruises, you would see, you know, the guards had beaten him up. Also, he didn't have the autopsy, which was actually the correct part. And his mom had to have his body exhumed. So the mom actually had to exhume the body for it to have the autopsy, for them to confirm that nobody has beaten her son up, but that he has actually been electrocuted. And the autopsy did confirm that. So now that poses the question, why the hell was the autopsy not performed in the first case, in the first instance? Why was this speculation even possible? And well, hey JD, I think it has something to do with you, maybe. I'm only speculating here, but I mean, maybe it has to do with his last meal, because the guards, although they're like chill, you know, and blame all of that, maybe they weren't that chill. They, you know, like alcohol was a no-no. You shouldn't have let somebody drink booze before going to the electric chair, because they clearly weren't hiding any bruises. Like this story that the inmates have spread was incorrect. So again, why not perform the autopsy? They have said it was expensive, but then, I mean, what the fuck? Like, then why return to the death row? Why return to the death penalty if it's fucking expensive and pricey? So yeah, again, just my opinion. And that is technically where the story ends. Except I have one more fun fact for you, because you guys love these facts and you love this serial killer. You love him so much. So, remember the cell where Spenkelink has lived, cohabited, what the fuck is the word? Spend time, serve time. Well, where he has spent his time waiting on death row. Well, 1979 comes around, and guess who occupies that cell? A, B, C, Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy actually had like a cool, this is not about Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy actually had like a decent last meal. By that I mean like actually edible and like a nice full plate that I'm gonna do one day. You know, once my teeth are okay. Anyways, personal story. But yeah, not a Hermione Granger situation, but I know what he had for his last meal. He basically rejected a special last meal and then had like just like steak and some eggs and some hash browns and some like marmalade weird thing going on. He had like juice and milk, which is such a weird combination. It's so like hotel, like it was always special. It's always special. Why'd you get off on this guy? Why'd you get off on this guy? Yeah, you personally. This is not a video about Ted Bundy. Okay, but technically this finishes the case. It's short and sweet, and it had more to like the back than to the front. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, it just ended up being that way because we didn't know shit about his childhood. Do you like when cases have more to the front and just you have like the whole childhood and then you're like, oh, he killed, bam bam bam, and then the trial? Or do you like them when they have more to the back and they like change the laws or have an autopsy or like have something scandalous happen afterwards? Which ones do you prefer? Let me know. It might actually help me base these cases on them, so yeah, let me know. I didn't word that right. The cases shouldn't have front and back. They're not like curvy women. Wow, okay. Don't cancel this channel. Wow, curvy women. Wow. Well, now I have to go have fun in the back and record another podcast episode, so check the link for those below, and you know what to do with this, you know. I'm here for you every Friday, so subscribe, like if you want to see this content, and you know, if you want to just immediately be the first person to see who I'm covering on a Friday. Maybe your dreams do come true and one day it is a Bundy. Wow, the goals, the aspirations, really should have better goals in life, just in general. But yeah, you keep wishing on it. Cool, yeah, you keep wishing on it. I have nothing else to tell you. And truly nothing else to say except that this hit me. I have been touched by the godly power of JD and Coke. Yeah, if you're watching this and you're drinking, good job, good job. Drink every time I say something dumb. Like mention a killer. Ooh, that's really a drinking game, yeah. Just like mention a killer or say something super dumb or laugh at my own jokes. Oh, there's plenty of that. Plenty of that. But yeah, I have nothing else to tell you and nothing else to say. So until next Friday, when fuck knows what I'll have on this desk. When fuck knows what I'll have on this desk. Bye guys. Bye. Bye. Oh bye. Oh bye. Oh bye. Oh bye. That was jarring.